Alright, so what's up everyone, now welcome back to the channel. Now today we're going to be talking about Call of Duty Vanguard and more specifically to do with the perks. Now, a bunch of the perks just leaked from Modern Warfare 2 Ghost on Twitter. If you don't know him, he's a very credible and sort of respected leaker in the COD community. But basically, he went out and started tweeting about a bunch of leaked perks from one of his sources, and we're going to be discussing that in today's video. We're going to go through the list and talk about every single perk that was leaked. And we're also going to discuss my thoughts and opinions as well. Now, just before we get into today's video, if you are new around here, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I have tons of content planned for when Vanguard comes out. And I'm going to be daily uploading for the whole month of October. This is something I need to sort of commit to. And it provides more content for you guys, and I don't know, I can sort of prove to myself that I don't have commitment issues. But anyway, if you want to see more content from me like this, then make sure you subscribe to the channel, leave a like on this video if you enjoyed, and with all that out of the way, we're just going to get right into the video. So what we're going to do first is we're going to go through and talk about all of the perks that leaked from the Modern Warfare 2 Ghost once again. And once we've gone through and talked about all the perks, then I'm going to discuss my thoughts and opinions, and you can let me know what you think down in the comments. But let's start off with the first perk. Now, this is called Brawler. So this perk is for people who like to use melee weapons. When you use a melee weapon, your movement speed is increased, your melee range is increased, and you regen health immediately after a kill. So this is just a melee overall focused perk, and I think this is great, honestly. It definitely helps with melee weapons. People who just always use knives and stuff, this is going to be a must-use perk. And if you're going for Dark Matter or Damascus, whatever it is, this is going to be very useful for using the knife. Our next perk here is called Clandestine or Clandestine. I'm not too sure how to say that. Essentially, slain enemies drop intel packs that reveal nearby hostiles. And when you spawn in, you get an intel ping at the start of your life. So I do believe this is actually a returning perk from World War II. And to my knowledge, I don't think people use it that much. But obviously in that game, you can only use sort of one perk in a class setup. So depending on where this is, in what slot this is, this could be a highly used perk, or it could just be ignored. But I suppose we'll have to wait and see. Next up, we have Dauntless. This makes you immune to the suppression mechanic, and it slightly reduces your movement speed. I personally think that suppression should just go away. I hate the idea of the suppression mechanic. I think it's one of the worst things that a COD game has ever done. And the fact that this perk has a downside as well, it reduces your movement speed, is just insane in my opinion. I can't believe that's actually a thing now. I just feel like in my mind, perks shouldn't have downsides, and I suppose the only real downside to using a perk is that you don't use another perk. So, for example, if you use this, you can't use, let's say, like Lightweight, which is an upcoming perk, or let's say Brawler, so you can't melee properly, something like that, you know what I mean? But anyway, next up we have Piercing Vision. Now, we sort of know about this, and it's basically like Combat Scout from Warzone, but instead of you actually having to hit the target to highlight them through walls, you only have to suppress them. Now, I'm not too caught up on how the suppression works. I don't know. I think it is when you miss a target. Like, it's a near miss that suppresses them, right? I'm pretty sure it is. So if you near miss them, and you basically have shit aim, it will then highlight the target for a short period of time. So I'm not sure if this actually works for teammates or if it's just for yourself. I'd imagine it's just for yourself. I don't think this is actually going to be that big of an issue, to be honest, because, yeah, sure, it rewards you even more for missing your target. However, I think with the time to kill, it's very rare that this is going to help. This is more so something for Warzone, so I wouldn't be too worried about this perk. Next up, we have Lightweight. This obviously increases your movement speed, but you get a downside. Whoop-de-fucking-do. It increases your movement penalty from suppression. So if the suppression mechanic wasn't bad enough, which honestly I didn't experience it too much in the beta, but the idea of it is still annoying. You basically, if you do get suppressed, you get even more slowed down. You get slowed down even more, I suppose. So we'll talk about opinions later on, but this is just mind-boggling to me. This next perk is actually very interesting. It's called Reaper. So essentially, kills with your kill streaks will count towards the kill streak. So it's basically like kill chain from Modern Warfare. Your care packages have a higher chance to drop a better kill streak. Your personal radar and UAVs last 50% longer, and controlled kill streaks have 50% more health. So this is just all around a kill streak buff, essentially. This is gonna depend on what category it's in. You know, if it competes with things like Ghost and Overkill or whatever, then I can see this being a fine perk. But if it's just going up against, you know, the not as powerful perks, then I don't think this is going to be an issue for balancing, I would say. Next up, we have Serpentine. Sprinting reduces incoming damage, which... What? I'm sorry. Excuse me? We'll talk about opinions later, but... Huh? And finally, we have Cold-Blooded. AI control kill streaks and not target you, and player control kill streaks will not be able to see you. You don't trigger high alerts. We all know what Cold-Blooded is. And it is possible that Modern Warfare 2 Ghost will leak more perks in the next few hours or few days. If he does, I'll leave a comment down below on the video, and you can go down and have a look at that. But... yeah, that's all the perks that we know of so far. One thing I do want to talk about just before I discuss my thoughts and opinions on all this stuff is a sort of concept from the Modern Warfare 2 Ghost here on screen. Now, he's basically saying that there are so many perks and stuff in the game. He thinks that pro perks should come back, and some of these should be sort of integrated into the pro perk section. And honestly, this is such a cool idea in my opinion. If you don't know, pro perks is something from Modern Warfare 3, and I believe that's the only game that's actually ever done it. But essentially, you would have a perk. One thing that springs to mind is Assassin. So Assassin would be basically like Ghost. You wouldn't be able to, you know, show up on radar and stuff. And if you did a certain challenge, you'd be able to upgrade that to Assassin Pro. And it would do stuff like, you know, highlight targets easier. I don't remember exactly what it did. Another example is Scavenger. So Scavenger, you'd pick up ammo when you kill enemies. If you upgraded it and got Scavenger Pro, you would spawn in with full ammo. So it's basically like fully loaded, which is a very cool concept. And I think this is one of the best things that's ever been in a COD game. And to see it return in this game, especially with how so many of these perks sort of could be integrated into each other very easily, I think this is an amazing idea. But it might be too late now to implement pro perks, you know, unless they do a massive overhaul, or unless that is the idea to begin with. But if these aren't pro variants of different perks, then I don't think it's going to happen. Now, I just want to discuss my thoughts and opinions on all of these perks. Honestly, some of these sound harmless. I mean, some of them, like lightweight, apart from the fact that they actually do have a downside, are very good. You know, Cold-Blooded, once again, is another one. Where, you know, it's fine. It doesn't really affect me or annoy me that much. Reaper as well with the kill streaks, depending on what slot it's in, is perfectly fine. But there's also a few perks here that really worry me. Serpentine is one of them. Sprinting reduces incoming damage. I mean, I think most people, everyone apart from campers is going to be sprinting, and this is just going to make the time to kill so much more inconsistent. Like, that was a problem to begin with the whole headshot multiplies thing, and this perk is going to make it even worse. So I just think this should be completely deleted, to be honest. Another one is not necessarily to do directly with the perks, but is the fact that perks have downsides. I think, like I said earlier, the only downside a perk should have is that you're not using another perk. And I think that it's more so to do with Dauntless and Lightweight. They sort of counteract each other. You can either say middle ground, where you have normal movement speed, normal suppression. You can have increased movement speed and more suppression, or decreased movement speed and less suppression. I don't really like how these two perks sort of coexist, really. I think what would work a lot better is have Dauntless and Lightweight be in the same category, and have just remove the penalties from them. So then it's basically you either are completely immune to suppression, maybe give it another benefit, sort of make it, you know, just not that, or you have increased movement speed, and that way you have to choose between being quicker or not being held back as much. And I think that would be a perfect compromise. But if these two are in separate categories, then it doesn't really make sense, because if you pick both of them, you go nowhere. I think that'd be quite funny if people actually did that. But yeah, if you pick both of them, then you essentially go nowhere. But anyway, that's going to do it for today's video. Overall, these perks are very interesting. Some of them do have me quite worried, and some of them are just completely fine. I'm hoping that these aren't, like, some of these aren't actually the perks and they're just like placeholders, or maybe they don't even come to the game. Maybe they were just, you know, in the game files and never touched. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see it launch. So that's going to do it for today's video. Thank you guys for watching. If you've enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like and also subscribe if you are new around here. Once again, daily uploads for the month of October, and from then on, we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.